up with new product concepts, as well as brand management, launching brands, online marketing, as well as social media marketing. Today, I want to talk to you about what has changed pre-COVID, post-COVID as marketers. So how did we work before COVID? What inspiration did we use on a product level? What has changed? I'm going to introduce to you two post-COVID forces, selling survival and technical acceleration. Then I'm going to explain to you how we as businesses can use those changes to rethink what it is we're doing with our businesses. Then I'm going to bring it all together in a post-COVID model, so a nice tool for you, then go away and sort of think about your business as well. And as this all is going to be a lot of information for you, I thought it'd be nice we look at a use case, and I'm going to explain to you how Gucci came out of this crisis quite well. So let's dive in. How did we as marketers work pre-COVID? So in terms of product development, there's lots of sources of inspiration we're using. We're looking at trends. This could be mega trends. Mega trends tells us how society is developing, how the norms and beliefs are changing. Like we see the change right now as a result of the crisis we've gone through, but also there's micro trends, macro trends, and so on. You would also look at first movers. So what kind of innovation they bring into the market. Obviously, look at competitors. So how do they interpret the trends they see? We look at markets. Some segments are thriving, some are not. And last but not least, there's external suppliers and partners. One could use an innovation hub or even internal research centers. And now all these sources of inspiration we would use, bring it together in a nice product idea, nice product concept, or even brand. And from there, we will go into stage of developing that product, launch it, and after launch, there's the core product support. But what has now really changed due to COVID? I'm trying to explain to you today that this work isn't long, this way we used to work is not longer sufficient, that there's two forces we need to look at as a result of COVID, and we really need to work with them to rethink our businesses. So the first resulting force due to pandemic, I'm going to talk about is selling survival. Now, think about what just happened to us. We've gone through a tremendous crisis that turned the world as we know it upside down. There were feelings of uncertainty, loss of control that really triggered our survival instinct. So this first force, selling survival, is really about being self-sufficient. Think about what happened in the real estate market. People now trying to move to the outskirts, get their own home, more space, so that they have a room for where they can do remote working, their own home office. They have the gym equipment now in the basement, and it's really that protecting ourselves and our future and really feeling safe. That situation we've been in was an extreme, and it really pushed us, and it's just natural. And that's been a psychological insight that individuals are going to go into the other extreme once they can. And this is what selling survival is about. Now, the second force is technical acceleration. As almost all aspects of the physical world were literally shut off, a lot of things got transferred into a digital world. Just think about virtual working, think about doing groceries online. And so this is, again, a consequence to the pandemic, and we need to see what's going to be there to stay. Now, you could argue now, Rita, really and truly, these are just two trends. We know what trends are like. We see them coming. We develop a product, and then they're gone. What I'm trying to explain to you today is that is not the case. These forces are so strong, they pretty much represent how society now sees the world. And we can't just have those two forces affect us on the product level. We need to really rethink what we do as businesses and what we stand for as businesses, and use these powers and use that change to readjust everything we do. And we do that on 3 decision-making levels. So how are we going to use that change I just presented to you? When I talk about 3 decision-making levels, this is referring to a company level. So the values and vision and core beliefs and core strength the company has is about brand levels, about distribution and communication channel. And the 3rd level is a product level. So really the services, the products you sell. Now, again, my point is we need to use these changes, these 2 forces, to have all 3 levels affected, not just a product level or a brand level. We need to work on all levels. And if we combine those 2, this is the post-COVID motto we get. So you can see on the top, selling survival and technical acceleration. On the vertical, you see the 3 decision-making levels, company, brand, and product. And you see a lot of blank spaces. So these are the categories I'm now going to talk about in my presentation. And they're really meant to be to give you some insights, some ideas, some inspiration also. And at the end, you will have a beautiful model you can go and work with and use it as a tool to really strengthen your business and come up as a winner from this crisis. So let's dive in and see how it all works. I'm going to start at the company level. So let's talk about, in terms of our company, our values, our visions, how can we use the 2 forces, selling survival and technical acceleration, to become stronger. At company level, we really need to re-evaluate our vision and our values in the light of changed consumers, of changed norms and beliefs of society. And you should see that from recent product launches, there's a lot happening in terms of clean products, in terms of the packaging, using less plastic, or the formula inside the product. Everything is clean, green, bio. We had this before, but now these things come up much stronger due to the crisis. But what I'm trying to give you as an insight here is think about safe as well. 2 months back, I heard an advertising campaign on Spotify for an online bank, and it focused so much on fee-free, no fees for this, no fees for that. And I thought to myself, I don't think society is currently concerned with fees. I think it's rather safe. You know, we could go into another crisis which is not related to health. It could be related to finances. And then fees don't really play any role anymore. It's really about, is my money safe? So if you can incorporate safe in the way you talk about your business. So let's dive in. The first category, the way my charts are set up, I'm going to talk you through all categories on all 3 levels. I will name the category, I explain to you what it means, then I'm going to give you 2 examples how to integrate that change into your company, and then I'm going to show you an example company which I think really nicely represents the category I've just been talking about. Now, I want to point out I'm not in any sort of related to those example companies I picked. They don't sponsor me or anything. I just think they're really good examples and help you as well, because it's going to be a lot of information and you're going to hear a lot of insights from me. And if I give you real examples you can relate to, it's going to make it easier for you to digest all that information. So let's get started on sustainability. Sustainability is something I would advise you to think about in terms of your company values. It shouldn't be really new. We see a lot of initiatives from other companies around sustainability. Sustainability means or is defined as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet theirs. And it's made of 3 pillars: economic, environmental, and social. Now, how can we integrate as companies sustainability on a company level? The first idea is funding. So you could financially support a social health charity and then use that corporation for external communication with your clients, with your customers. However, I would argue that the second idea, sustainability as its business streams, is a better way to go about this, because I'm convinced that companies that have sustainability at the very core are going to be more sustainable. Now let's hear this again, because this is really important. Companies that have sustainability at the very core are going to be more sustainable. And that could be spin-offs and bigger companies, that could be startups, and it could be topics. At the moment, we see a lot of environmental related topics like minimal usage of material, upcycling of material, all sorts of things. I found an interesting example. My example company here is Coffee Form, a startup that produces coffee cups made from used coffee grounds, which they collect at barista stops. So I think it's a game-changing material that would have gone to waste, is now being used for a new product, ethically produced, sustainability at its very core. Let's move on to the next, purpose and ethos. I'm going to explain to you those two individually. Purpose. I would like for you to go away from this presentation using the matrix as a tool, and if you do that and come to rethink your company purpose, then think about purpose, about a company's higher reason for being beyond making money. And if you have a powerful purpose that could really help you to connect with your clients and customers on a personal level, which then will help you when you think about changed sets of beliefs and norms and values of society as a result of the crisis. Now, ethical ethos is relating to how you do business. How do you want to do business? How do you want to be seen by your customer and clients? Are you going to invest into customer service? I don't know about you, but I've never met an internet provider that really had good customer service. So here are two examples how to integrate purpose and ethos in your vision and in your values. So the first one is business partners. You could choose local partners, local suppliers. Sourcing locally has become really big throughout the crisis. Or you could partner with someone with a good cause. The second idea, I've already touched on how to do business. Are you offering value for money, high quality products, high quality service, customer service? I already mentioned that one. A company that said that they want to do business ethically is Remy New York, and they pay women in Vietnam 100 times as much for cutting off their hair and selling it on as other companies would. And they do that because they want to change these women's lives. They know with $100 to $200, these women can go and support their children's education or support the farm of their parents, anything. And I think that's really a strong purpose Remy New York has at its core. Now let's move on to brand level. Let's talk about distribution and communication and how we can use selling survivor and technical acceleration here. We sort of knew that competition got global. I mean, there's the internet, there's e-commerce. But what you need to understand, what I would like you to understand, is that a lot of people throughout the crisis got sort of forced into e-commerce. There were items they probably weren't purchasing online before. So now they have to, or they had to. And when you change something that's such a habit, something that's such a routine, if a routine gets changed by force, the likelihood is it's not going to go back to normal. It's not going to go back the way it was. So really and truly, with that environment, we need to keep in mind our competition is just a click away. I integrate all this goal because I think it's important. I think not enough people talking about it, and that's why you will hear now from me. By 2050, 21% of the worldwide population will be older than 60 years. However, businesses tend to ignore their age group. Even though they're the wealthiest generation compared to all other generations like me, millennial, generation rent, and the attitude towards using their purchasing power is quite positive too. However, only 13% of the 60-plus-year-olds worldwide see themselves represented in the advertising they see. Now, what can you do when marketing to that age group? First suggestion here, go digital. Remember that the crisis, the pandemic, had an effect on almost all aspects of our life, regardless of age. So for that group, for that generation, social connectiveness became really important because as travel was banned, they couldn't see relatives and friends. So they had to find different ways. My mom is now on WhatsApp, which is, I think, is horrible, but that's how it turned out. Finances, something now 60-plus-year-olds start managing via smartphones, and they have apps. My example company does exactly that. Personal Capital offers a variety of financial planning tools with their app, but you also got a good setup in terms of retirement planning tools, and they address this generation, which is good. The second idea is combine digital with non-digital. Buy online, pick up in store is something 2/3 of baby boomer generation tried out. Again, coming back to change routines. If you change a routine, that's like a path in our brain is getting changed by force. It's not going to go back to how it used to be. So think about these things, I think, is worthwhile. Came, saw, and bought. 2020 is set to jump e-commerce forward by 5 years. And the e-commerce 2.0 is really about digital experience. Due to the absence of the ability to touch products, it's really about, replacing that experience. We now referring to it as entertainment, a combination of entertainment and e-commerce. So what can we do with e-commerce 2.0? The first idea is to replace physical encounter. Augmented reality try-ons is something we see popping up in fashion more and more. That means that digital clothes appear on a person in real time as they move. Augmented reality filters is something you see a lot in color cosmetics. Chanel claimed that their solution was actually more beneficial when consumers tried out lipsticks with augmented reality filter, tried out the color, as opposed to before when you had to go in store and try out tester products. User-generated content and social commerce is a really great way to put your product in a real-life environment, so to speak. And there's enough research done that shows it boosts conversion as well. Before I go on to the second idea, I need to talk about my example company, which is Snapchat. And with the Snapchat Lens Studio augmented reality solution, companies have the chance to give their consumers this real digital experience, as you can see in the picture I choose. So the next idea how to integrate entertainers on a brand level is to add social interaction. Gaming, for example, as physical aspects of the life were shut off, gaming gained more importance. But I would like for you to think about gaming in a bigger picture. There's also first examples of companies that use platforms for purchasing, selling and purchasing items. Have you ever heard of digital clothes? Well, if not, I'm going to talk about this in a bit. Live stream shopping, again, is a nice example of a combination of marketing and entertainment. Two sides to every story. I would really like you to think about the digital and non-digital aspect of your communication and distribution. When I talk to D2C, direct-to-consumer companies, they're kind of stuck in the digital world, and that's all where the marketing budget goes. But there's great examples out there of companies that prove how beneficial it is if a company can sort of shift between both worlds. So what are my suggestions here? So for D2C companies, I really like the initiative of sampling, because you give out samples, gives your audience a perfect base for gets in touch literally with the physical aspect of your product, and everything that comes out from it, like reviews, user-generated content, is then gonna help you in your communication, obviously conversion, and all your digital channels anyway. For B2B companies, why not put a face to your company? Use a conference like this one or a webinar and talk about all the great stuff it is you do. For businesses that heavily rely on brick or mortar, I would like you to open up to the ideas of integrating a digital aspect into your business. Let me use my example company on the right to further explain. Furniture giant IKEA could open up a number of flagship stores that function as showrooms. So customers could still go there in person, see and touch and feel the products, but then order via smartphone and all the goods get delivered home. Same goes for multimedia items. When was the last time you bought a washing machine and carried it up 2 flights of stairs? Also for fashion, the future for fashion I see is showrooms. And then you have a changing room with a smart mirror. You don't even need to try on the clothes anymore. There's going to be augmented reality, smart mirror. The clothes will just appear on you. You scan some sort of code, order online, everything gets shipped to your home. Or another idea, I put down smart devices. Why not partner up with technology companies? Like you can see in my picture, that smart mirror. If you partner up with technology companies, it's going to be your product and your brand that's going to be recommended to the customer through that device. So let's move on to product level. Now you see for every level I've sort of given overall topic and really just outline where it is we head into. So for product level, I would like to remind you of the customer's power. I've already touched on the fact that we are now in a global competition, how easy it is to get products pretty much from anywhere through to e-commerce. And I don't know about you, but I only buy products that 4 or 5-star products. So if your product isn't a 4 or 5-star product, you probably won't make it. And again, I've already explained to you throughout the crisis how society changed in terms of their norms and sets of beliefs and priorities. So they really want to see companies coming up with things like, what's your ethos, what's your purpose? And if you don't have that, they're probably not going to invest into you. So think about and consider this when I say your customers are in the driver's seat. Home sweet home. I don't know about you, but my front room throughout lockdown period turned to an office, a daycare center, a gym, cinema, restaurant, you name it. And again, this is going back to what I was planning before. We developed new routines now. We had to. It came in as sort of a force. And we're not going to go back. I got now my gym equipment in the basement, which means my gym contract is going to get cancelled. So what can we as companies, what products can we offer that turn homes into classes? Now, the first idea is on demand. We've already seen it through the crisis. Anything like audiobooks, TV, we now signed up to Disney Plus, was really successful, gym programs. But I'd like for you to think about on demand on a bigger level. I really like the fact that this conference has an on-demand format, so recipients can just dip in and consume at their convenience. Obviously, smart devices, any device that turns our homes into a smart home, Internet of Things related devices will also be more and more successful. The second idea is replicate experience. An example company does exactly that. Throughout lockdown period, we saw that individuals gone back to making things from scratch, and cooking was one of them. So Home Chef really benefited from it. Home Chef is a delivery of pre-portioned ingredients and recipes, so people can then take the bag they get and cook from scratch a meal. What I think is also interesting, the way Home Chef communicates about it, because they say due to the business model, they're going to stop food wastage. Again, I think another nice idea to help bring in ethos and purpose. You get the picture. Virtual get-togethers, again, I don't know about you, was your last Christmas party a virtual one? Well, it might be this year. So again, if we can come up with products that support that, I think it's going to be successful. The next category is self-care. Self-care is really going back to what I was saying when I explaining selling survival to you, is that situation we've been forced in. There's this loss of control. It wasn't by choice we was in this crisis, but what it's going to do to us as individuals, that we're now going to take things back by force. So we want to take things back, take back control, take things back in our own hands, and really be on top of everything. So what products are of help here? The first idea is wellness. It's interesting that throughout the crisis, people really realized how important it is to de-stress, and they're doing that now at their homes. So any product that can be of help here is streaming, like music, TV, but also beauty and personal care. You can see categories like facial mask. Yeah, you heard me right. People buy a lot or bought a lot of facial masks, put them on, sit on the sofa, relax. And that was the 10, 15, 20-minute me time and de-stressing. Also, fitness apps grew by nearly 50% during the first half of 2020. Strava is such a fitness app, and it tracks human exercise, especially developed for runners and bikers. And now listen to this, they claim that each month of 2021, they had on average 2 million first-time users signing up. Each month, 2 million first-time users. That is wow. Last time I checked, they had 73 million subscribers, and obviously counting. So now their app goes also sort of into the second idea here, is tracking. Wearables become an integral part of our life. We track conditions, illnesses, the world around us, pollution rates, depending where you live. And then I put finances there. Again, I discussed that already. People might want to become their own financial specialists, and they want to monitor it and just have control over it. New work. According to McKinsey, 20% of the workforce could work remotely 3 to 5 days a week as effectively as they could if working from an office. And if remote working would take hold at that level, that would mean 3 to 4 times as many people working from home than before the crisis. 3 to 4 times people working from home more than before the crisis. I mean, think about the effect that would have on inner city centers. What about businesses that relied on business commuters? So clearly, remote work is here to stay, but are we ready? Before the crisis, we needed management tools to manage our relationship with our customers. After the crisis, we need tools to manage the relationship with our employees. The second idea takes the whole thing to a new level, in my opinion. The virtual chat and chat solutions that are out there sort of left individual craving for real social interaction. And this is where a company like Robella comes in, that creates 3D immersive worlds where you have your own avatar. It's a virtual workplace to learn, train, meet. It brings in that element of gamification, as you can see in my picture of the middle. Customization, my favorite one. As companies, we group customers and consumers together in so-called shopper profiles, so we can better address their needs, better communicate to them, and have the proper products for them. However, I personally think there's a way forward to this, where we should really try and personalize our products and brand interaction as much as possible. 2 ideas here. Zero-party data could help. Zero-party data is data a consumer leaves intentionally and shares proactively with a company. And that could be purchasing preferences, there could be personal data like birthdays. Zero-party data can be obtained through questionnaires, quizzes, even a home test, or through a registration process. Now, I would strongly advise you to think about using zero-party data because it's relatively easy to integrate into process. Let me share an example with you, Babel, a language learning app. After you downloaded the app, throughout the registration process, they want you to answer 3 simple questions. Why is you want to learn a language? Is it work related or personal? How much time, the time frame you're giving yourself, and what level you want to get onto. And based on those answers, on that data, they then come up with a tailor-made learning schedule based on your needs. And the second idea takes it to a new level. Artificial and Internet of Things devices. Now, me personally, I think beauty and personal care brands have done an amazing job here. For example, Henkel Schwarzkopf launched an Internet of Things device last year, which helps their hairstylist in a salon to scan a customer's hair and get within seconds information about the condition of the hair, which then helps them to mix there and then the right hair care product to really personalize the hair care treatment they're going to give their customer. Or my favorite one, you can see in my picture in the middle, is a smart device launched by Yves Saint Laurent by Perso. And with that device, with that app, you sort of scan your outfit of the day, the way you made your makeup, and it gives you a few suggestions in terms of a lipstick color that will really nicely go with your whole outfit. And then you choose a specific color, and then your at-home device will produce a little amount of lipstick in that color you choose, just enough to apply and wear for this day. Now, I think that is customization at top level. Wow, that was a lot of information to take in. Let's bring it all together in the post-COVID model. As you can see here, we still have selling, survive, and technical acceleration on the top. And I've just gone through all the categories. I filled it out now for you on each of the 3 decision-making levels, everything I just talked about. And I would like you to use this as a tool to really rethink and perhaps readjust and use this matrix and decide which entry point is going to be your business, because ultimately I want to set you up for success in a post-COVID environment. Make it more real, I choose a case study, Gucci, because I think they've done a really nice job on all 3 levels, sort of working with all the change that's going on, and I wanted to share that with you. Before I do that, I want to give you some background in terms of fashion industry and the challenges they were facing with the crisis. The first challenge was obviously missing business stream due to closed stores. And the second challenge, before COVID hit, nobody would really consider purchasing haute couture or designer clothes online. There's a good example, Farfetch, which is a platform that sells exactly that, designer clothes, and it really only took off and became really successful. It's been around for 10, 12 years, really truly took off throughout the crisis. But let's go back to Gucci and have a look what they did. So on a product level, and this falls into the category of home sweet home, they partnered up with Sepito, a South Korean social media app that allows you to create and personalize your own avatar. So this is the digital couture. Yes, you heard me right. It's digital clothes, so you don't need to worry about any space in your wardrobe like me, because I haven't got any, but it's things you dress up your avatar with, and maybe in the near future, even with your Zoom meeting, is something that is a complete new product. I think it's amazing how here we see how the limitations of the physical world been just expanded beyond and one-of-a-kind digital experience, really. On a brand level, and this falls into the category of came, saw, and bought, last year, Gucci partnered up with Snapchat and was really and truly the first augmented reality try-on they launched. You can see in my picture, they did that for their trainers. And it was the first time for Gucci that they had augmented reality try-on shoppable options. So Snapchatters could then have the digital experience of trying sneakers on and then purchase them right in there. And on a company level, and this goes back to purpose and ethos, with the Chim of Change initiative, Gucci has anyway, they partnered up with Kering Foundation, and together they launched a campaign to support non-for-profit organizations helping women and girls around the globe. There's been a lot of reports on what groups the crisis hit really bad, and as a response to that, they launched that initiative. So when we look at what Gucci did, I think it's just amazing that on all three levels, they really sort of, you know, use the changes that are going on at the moment. And you can see that they're standing to their values and visions. They open up themselves to new distribution channels and tapped into this whole digital experience thing. And they launched a completely new product, and I would argue a new product category. So it's very, very interesting. That was my presentation for today. I hope I gave you a lot of insights, a lot of inspiration. I gave you a tool so you can use that and really come up with your own solutions, how to use the changes that are going on. Thank you very much.